Hey guys, this is Eric, the owner of Loyal Lab Electric and Generators. You probably noticed this looks a little different than it usually does. If you watched our other video, you'll see that we announced our big name change from Quality Electric to Loyal Lab. Today, I'm going to talk about what the brand means, how it was created, and who that dog is on the van. So in order for me to really explain what this brand needs to me, I need to tell you a little bit about my story. I've talked about in other videos, I started in the trade in high school. I owe my interest in the electrical field to my 7th and 8th grade science teacher, Ms. Shep. She's been a great influence in my life, and she's been a part of my family ever since then. But the rest of my story starts a little bit later. It was around the 2011-12 mark. I was a 3rd or 4th year apprentice. I was making bad financial decisions. I was in a bad relationship. I was just kind of lazy at home. I think a lot of people can probably relate to that. But one thing that I had going for me was I was a hard worker at work. I was doing really well in my career. I was progressing as an apprentice. I was doing all those things right. It's just my personal life outside of that was kind of starting to fall apart. Around that same time, my girlfriend at the time, her grandmother surprised us one day with she had gotten a new puppy, and she kind of teased me a little bit, made me think she was giving it to me. She wasn't, until she started to have some health complications and she couldn't take care of this puppy anymore. She asked me if I wanted him, and obviously I did. That puppy's name was Rusty, or I named him Rusty. He had a name that we're not going to talk about because it wasn't as good as Rusty. So that's how Rusty came into my life. He came into my life when I was approaching what would be the lowest part of my life. Things got a little worse in my life from there. I made more bad financial decisions. My relationship got worse. My health was declining. I was making poor decisions that were leading me to be overweight and more lazy. And I was just not in a good spot in my life. I was falling behind in school and all that stuff. Luckily for me, I was able to keep Rusty. I still kept my house. I wasn't homeless or anything like that. So, everybody has their own stories, and you can't really compare one person's pain to another. But in my story, this was the worst part of it. But what helped me get through it every single day was coming home to Rusty. No matter how difficult of a day it was, no matter how much money I had in the bank or how much money I didn't have in the bank, he didn't care. He was just as happy to see me when I came home, whether it was the best day of my life or the worst day. He was just happy to be there with me during those days. There's nothing like having a dog like that by your side. If any of you had a dog when you were in your early 20s, you know that sort of bond that you have with that animal is like nothing you'll ever have. It didn't last long. I started to turn my life around. I buckled down. I got caught up in my school. I made better financial decisions. I got myself out of debt. I ultimately got my electrical license, and then I met my wife. She also, if you ask her, she claims that Rusty played a pivotal role in her agreeing to go on our first date. When she came to meet me for the first time and she pulled up to my house, she saw Rusty standing on the back of the couch, tail wagging, tongue hanging out, just happy to see her. My wife at that point knew that if I had a dog that was that cute and that friendly, I must be okay. Her name's Emily, and she became the other rock in my life. So now I had Rusty, I had Emily, I was on top of the world. I had got my journeyman license. I shortly after that got my master's license, and then that's when Quality Electric was born. I had just come out of the darkest part of my life, and now I was in a much better situation. I still had my rock Rusty by my side, and now I had this amazing woman, Emily. And we just kept building. I started my business with just an old half-built shed and a truck. The company started to grow. We added trucks, we added guys, the team was growing, the culture was growing, things were just going really well. I had my son. So my son, he's 4 now, his name's Jackson, and I'm fortunate enough that he got to meet Rusty. So I don't know if any of you guys have had the opportunity to have a young child and a dog at the same time, but it's the most amazing experience. I can't even put it into words how awesome it was to just see them interact. And I'm also sorry for anybody that has dogs, because Rusty was the best dog that ever lived. So just watching him know when to be gentle and never take his food or our food, or he never chewed anything. He was just the perfect dog. And as somebody in my 20s, you can probably guess I didn't spend too much time training him, and he just turned out to be that perfect. So it was a miracle that he ended up being that good. Even in his final days, his the end of his life, he lived to be about almost 14 years old, and anyone that's had a senior dog knows that towards the end of their journey, they get tired, they spend most of their days laying around, and there were some days where he didn't get up at all until one of us would walk in the door, and he would muster up whatever energy he had left to walk up and greet us, because I think that he felt like that's what we needed. And life is hard, so having somebody or something, in this case it was Rusty, give you that extra little oomph to get through the day because you have that dog coming over to greet you, it's just something I'll forever be grateful for. Even Clay, one of my oldest employees that we have here, he came to see him to say his goodbyes at the end, and even on his final day, he still got up and walked over the door to greet Clay because he was happy to see him too. So he just always felt like I feel like he was always giving us what we needed to get through whatever parts of our life we were struggling with. So with all that stuff in mind, once I realized that we needed to make some drastic changes to our image, I wanted to accomplish a couple things. I wanted to, first of all, honor Rusty and have him live on forever in our brand, in our image. And I also wanted to use this opportunity to portray what we're trying to do. We aren't just showing up and doing electrical work. When you see Rusty on the side of our truck pull up to your house, we're making a promise that we're going to be loyal to you, that me as the owner will be loyal to my employees and loyal to our community and continue to give back and just do all these things that we were doing before, but our name just didn't show it. So I just wanted to both honor him and try and portray more of what we were trying to do here. I hope you guys appreciated the story, and we are so excited to start getting out there, get these trucks rolling, and serving the community as Loyal Lab Electric and Generators. So keep watching to learn more about our story and what we're going to be doing in the future, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.